So let's take a look at exponents. We've done a little bit of this before. We know that exponents are used to express repeated multiplication. So just as multiplication shows repeated addition, exponents is like multiplying the same number by itself. So if we have 2 to the 4th, we know that this is in exponential form. And we know that the 2 is referred to as the base, and the little number up top is our exponent. When we expand it, so we have our expanded form, the exponent tells us the number of times the base is being multiplied by itself, which is why we have 2 multiplied by itself 4 times, and the answer, the product of multiplying, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 again is 16. So again, we can see that the exponent tells us the number of times the base is being multiplied by itself, and tricky part for some is that the base is directly below the exponent or everything inside brackets when the exponent is outside. So this becomes really tricky when we are seeing a negative perhaps, or maybe we have fractions. So let's take a look at some examples then. So if we have a table and take a moment and we can copy it all out, and then try to fill in your different columns, recognizing that again the base is whatever is directly below and everything in brackets. If there are no brackets, then you cannot include the negative, you cannot include the whole fraction unless we've got brackets. So for that first one, and you can pause it if you'd like to complete the table first, and then compare with my answers. So in the first case, -2 all to the 4th, meaning everything's in brackets, so the base is everything inside, so the base is -2, and so that tells us that expanded form, -2 is being multiplied by itself 4 times. And I can use brackets to show multiplication, or I can use the times symbol, and the product, -2 times -2 is +4, times -2 is -8, times -2 again is then +16. In the second case, we have -2 to the 4th, but because there are no brackets, the base is only the 2. Okay, so whatever is directly below, which is just the 2, and so in expanded form, we can put the negative out front. Some people like to show it as -1, then times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And again, we can use a dot. That can also indicate that we're multiplying. So be careful it doesn't drop down and become a decimal. So in this case, we're looking at -16. So look again at the exponential form for A and B, and so similar, other than the fact that one has brackets, the other doesn't. And so in one case we're looking at +16, the other case -16, because there's only one negative. Okay, take a look at example C, 14 squared, or 14 to the power of 2. And so our base directly below the exponent is 14, and so in expanded form, 14 times 14, which is 196. Looking at example D, we have 3 halves in brackets, all cubed. So again, our base, everything in brackets, so 3 halves, and expanding it, the base is being multiplied by itself 3 times because our exponent is 3. So remembering with fractions, we multiply across. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So we have 27/8. And in this case, I don't need you to worry about changing that into a mixed number. In example E, we can see that we've dropped the brackets, and therefore what is directly below our exponent is just the numerator. So our base is simply 3. So in expanded form, we might show 3 times 3 times 3 just all over 2, because only the numerator is the base that is directly below the exponent. That's the only thing that's being repeated. So then we're looking at 27 halves. And the last question, -4/5 all squared. So everything inside brackets, so our base is -4/5. That's what's going to be multiplied by itself. So -4/5 times -4/5. Then negative times negative is positive. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5, 25. Okay, so that's your review of and some reminders of how to apply exponents. And please complete the questions on topic 1 from your unit plan.